Hi everyone, Bruce here at etrailer. Today we are going to compare the Tucson Electronic Sway Control to the CURT Electronic Sway Control. Now both of these electronic sway controllers are going to work similar to each other, but we'll get into that more later. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at the Tucson Sway Control, and let's go ahead and open the box and see what we've got inside. You're going to have your instruction manual, and you're going to have a box. Like so. So looking at this one a little closer, you can see we've got a bunch of wires here. What this one essentially does, it's going to separate your brakes from the left side from the right side. So basically, you know how when you press your manual brake control on your brake controller, when you do that, you feel the truck pulling backwards because it's applying all the trailer brakes at once. This one is going to separate each side. So you, again, like I said, you're going to have braking on the left side and braking on the right side separate when it notices sway. Now the Tucson does come with an LED indicator letting you know the status of the controller. Now I will say this can be mounted on the bulkhead so you can see it through your side mirrors, but I will say it is very difficult to see what that light's doing if you're looking at it in your mirror. My big thing, when we mounted this, we actually put it in a little more hidden spot where you can't see it from your mirror. My whole thinking is if it's doing its thing, you just let it alone. It doesn't really matter if it's activated or not. You're probably not going to feel it, and it's going to stop your sway before you even know it's happening. So my biggest thing is focus on the road, not on this LED. Now, as I mentioned, you don't really want to stare at this LED, but what it will do, it will flash every 2 seconds when the actual braking is activated. I did mention before that the hooking this one up, it separates your left side from your right side braking, but that doesn't mean that's going to happen when you're pushing the brake on your tow vehicle. The tow vehicle, when you're pushing the brake, it's still going to apply all the brakes evenly, and the same as if you use your manual button on your brake controller, it's going to apply all the brakes at the same time. The only time it separates is when it senses a sway. Depending on which way the trailer's swaying is going to determine what side is braking on the trailer. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at the CURT now. Let's go ahead and unbox this one. So basically you're going to have this big box. You'll get some self-tapping screws and of course your instruction manual. Now, looking at this one, it looks very cumbersome and very big, but it's an easy install. And the way this one's actually going to work, it's going to apply the brakes just as your manual override on your brake controller does. So once it senses sway, it will go ahead and brake all four. If you've got a dual axle, it'll brake all the brakes at one time, just like your manual override. All right, let's go ahead and flip this one around a little bit. If you notice, it does have a 7-way plug on it. So essentially what this is going to do is this will plug into your tow vehicle, and then your trailer wiring 7-way will actually plug into the other side of this. You have the option to go ahead and download an app, but we tried it, and I don't want to be negative, but it really didn't work. It did connect, but it's supposed to tell us what's going on with the actual controller, but we had struggled trying to get that to work. Now without the app, the status indicator is right here on this unit, and this whole unit mounts to the side of your trailer up by the tongue. So you're not going to be able to see this from your vehicle, but again, like I said with the other one too, you don't really want to focus on that. You just kind of want to install it and let it do its thing. Let's go ahead and talk about the differences in feel when they actually are actively controlling sway. Now, We put in this one into a camper, and we went ahead and test drove it, and we got it to actually activate the brakes by making evasive maneuvers and making the trailer sway. But I will say, when it does that, it's so subtle you don't even notice it happening. And more than likely, it's going to do it and straighten your trailer out before you even have time to even think about it. Now, this one, you can definitely feel when it does activate, because like I said, it's like grabbing your manual on your brake controller and pressing that, and you can really feel the truck pull back. So there is a slight difference in that. Now, is the individual braking better to stop sway, or is it all four? Unfortunately, I can't answer that, but they both do a perfect job of stopping the sway. Now, the Tucson, I would say, is a more comfortable ride when it actually activating and trying to stop that trailer sway, because I didn't really even notice it happening. The only way I noticed it was through the LED, because we had a camera set up on the LED, and we looked back at that, and you can see it activate, but I can not necessarily tell it was activating. Now, on the CURT, on the other hand, you can definitely tell it activates, because it does, like I said, pull the trailer back when you do it. Let's go ahead and discuss the install on each one of these. Starting off with the Tucson, as you see, you've got a lot of wiring here, and you do have to wire the brakes, because what you're doing, as I mentioned before, is you're separating those. So as far as installation goes on the Tucson, it is a lot more intensive, and you're going to have to run some wires. Now, going to the CURT, it is a completely plug and play. The hardest part is to go ahead and mount it to the side of the trailer, and from there you basically hook this end up to your tow vehicle, and your trailer wiring 7-way will plug in right here. So it is literally a plug and play. You may be wondering now, which one do you choose? Well, let's go ahead and start off with the CURT. I will say this is going to be your easiest install, because it's literally going to take you longer to get it out of the box than actually mount it to the trailer and hook it up. But this one also, you can only use this with a travel trailer or a utility trailer. Now, jumping back over to the Tucson, now the installation is going to be a little more intensive, but this is the only electronic sway control out there that will actually work for a gooseneck or a fifth wheel trailer. So that's kind of going to determine where you want to go. Now, as far as if you want more economical, go with the CURT. If you're looking to get a little bit more elaborate, then the Tucson could be for you, or if you've got a fifth wheel or a gooseneck trailer you'd like to hook this up on. One other thing I do want to mention is if your hitch is not weight distribution compatible, both of these would be a great choice to use over the weight distribution hitches. Now, what I mean by that is a weight distribution hitch will also help with sway, but if your hitch is not compatible to hook one of those up, this will go ahead and do the same thing as far as sway goes. It just does it electronically instead of mechanically. Now, as far as which one's better for you, the choice is really yours. It's really going to depend on whether you've got a fifth wheel you want to put it on, or if you want to go a little more economical and you just got a travel trailer or a utility trailer. With that being said, that is just a closer look at our Tucson and CURT True Course Electronic Sway Control. I'm Bruce. Thanks for watching.